Thousands expected to come out to Martinez Lake to celebrate Memorial Day weekend. Rural Metro says most injuries when playing with fireworks, well, that comes when they actually don't go off and people try to pick them up. Talking to Governor Brewer about Medicaid, the expansion plans. Crime scene tape remained in front of the house most of the day as sheriffs continue to investigate. 4th of July celebrations are underway. I'm Mauricio Marin, live from Paradise Casino. We'll have the very best of the red, white, and blue. Blythe Police Chief Steve Smith says he's getting heat because of active shooter training like this one.
We need that effect so that they realize in a stressful situation they're going to need to pay attention.
But Councilman Mike Evans says it goes too far.
When two unidentified gunmen armed with .357 Magnums burst into the room, screaming, yelling, and firing in the direction of the participants with blanks.
Evans says during one training exercise at a local high school, some teachers claimed they were harmed, claiming psychological damage and damaged hearing. They filed for workers' compensation.
If we're going to do this training, we need to warn the participants ahead of time.
Smith also tells us the local paper is giving his training a bad reputation around town.
Don't take just a few people's negative remarks and make a big story out. Take the positive remarks.
When I called Palo Verde Valley Times, they didn't want to comment, but they posted on their Facebook they're appalled that Chief Smith would politicize last week's massacre in Connecticut. Smith says he just wants the city to always be prepared.
If our people are trained, our teachers, I can guarantee you, we may not stop a fatality, but we will lower the fatality.
Mauricio Marin, KCY Fox 9 News. Now, I was out in San Luis this morning where hundreds of people lined up for unemployment benefits. They say the new way to check in with DES is complicated.
El calor, el venir y todo, o sea, sí es mucho lo que estamos batallando.
She says it's too hot to have to stand in line just to prove you don't have a job. But that's just what hundreds of people are having to do. This morning, the line in San Luis wrapped around the Department of Economic Security.
And it's not working, apparently.
Karen Goulis-Bias is frustrated with the recent DES changes. The changes require those receiving unemployment to check in with the agency online or with paperwork once a week. Before, people could check in over the phone. They can even stop getting unemployment checks if paperwork isn't filled out properly.
Que me equivoqué en dos fechas me equivoqué según ellos y dicen que si me vuelvo a equivocar que ya no van a dar desempleo.
Financially, it's putting me in a little bit of a bind. Job-wise, I haven't heard nothing yet from anybody.
Now, Regional Center for Board of Health President Amanda Aguirre couldn't believe the long line she saw this morning at the DES office right next to her agency and brought out water to help ease those waiting in the heat.
They need to be assistance. This is an emergency. So I'm calling for everybody, leaders in our county and the state, to step up and do something for our communities.
DES says this is the time of year farm workers are usually let go for the season, and they say that's what has contributed to the increase of people at local DES offices.
I think in hindsight, we could have done a little bit better job in anticipating just how big a volume of claimants we would see in those two offices.
Now, many people I talk with today say they don't want to be in this line. They want to get back to work.
Oh, yeah. I got an interview tomorrow in the morning.
Porque hay que trabajar, lo que pasa es que no hay trabajo y muchas veces no tenemos ni para echar gasolina.
He says he doesn't have enough for gas some weeks and looks forward to the day he can fill up the tank and drive to work. DES says they're sending more workers out to Somerton and San Luis to speed up the process. They should have at least 4 more employees brought in by next week. Anna, back to you.
Everybody's favorite, it's the 200-foot zip line. You launch off of the top of a semi-trailer and see how far you can get across the giant mud water pit.
That's just one of the many obstacles at this weekend's Toro Local Challenge. Elizabeth Lee, who's helping organize the event, says they picked Yuma because of its beauty.
The actual course is right along the Colorado River, which is gorgeous, so we just couldn't have a better location.
But there's nothing beautiful about the 10K course for competitive athletes starting at West Wetlands Park in Yuma. Obstacles will definitely push your physical limits. From climbing, rolling through nets, and sliding down poles, the challenges that lay ahead are definitely That was pretty local. And there's also a milder 5K course for families and dogs.
Even for people who don't want to get muddy, they can come out and watch.
Spectators can come out and watch free. A part of registration costs will even go to local organizations like the Diabetes Coalition.
We will be using the funds for screening, testing, and identifying people in the community who could use some additional help on managing their diabetes.
The Yuma Visitors Bureau says the Toro Local Challenge is just the beginning. They hope to attract more of these events to Yuma in the future.
Well, it's brought a lot of attention to Yuma, and we're happy to help promote it and get some attention for our tourism.
So the question is, are you local enough to try the Toro Local Challenge? Mauricio Marin, KCY Fox 9 News.